What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Pod Scum. I am, of course, your host, Reckless Rexx Ruger. That, of course, is the Freddie Mercury puppet. We are back with another incredible episode. It's what we do, kids, and we ain't about to change it now. Before we get into it, of course, let me give you the obligatory promotional spiel, because as you know, if you have a podcast, you got to pimp it. The pimp hand is feeling strong. There it is. Here we go. Make sure to tap into Pod Scum on Facebook. Our handle is Off the Couch Boxing and Pod Scum. Don't be confused. I've got two shows on this channel. You can get the 411 on both of them through that Facebook page. Again, the handle Off the Couch Boxing and Pod Scum. Instagram, we are also on there. Same handle, Off the Couch Boxing and Pod Scum. Super receptive and active on both of those platforms. So get with us, reach out to us, give us some feedback, tell us what you like, what you don't like. We will respond. But if you want to watch and listen to these episodes in their entirety, the only place you can do that is right here on the YouTube channel. So if you're here, please like, please subscribe, and please find your way to the top of your screen up there and smash that notification bell. So that way you will be tapped in when new content drops. We'll let you know. We'll alert you. You're goddamn right we will. So there's that. And by all means, Facebook, we're very active on there. As I said, we advertise the episodes, but we also put up lots of cool, fun stuff. If it's newsworthy or noteworthy in the fight game or in the rock, music, metal world, I put stuff up there, fun stuff that I think you guys would dig. So check us out there. Instagram, we put up lots of reels, little snippets of these conversations. So always a lot of new content up there as well. But like I said, if you want to watch and listen to the full episodes, you can only do that here on the YouTube channel. So this is where you really need to be right here. This is where it all goes down right here. This is it. This is your meat and potatoes right here. Before my guest gets in here, and I'm super stoked to have him back, a bass player for one of my favorite bands, the mighty Everclear. Been almost 4 years, I think 4 years. Freddie was one of the first guests, Freddie Herrera, bass player for Everclear, one of the first guests very early on when I was just a young independent podcaster, younger than I am now anyway. And I look back on those episodes, grainy, very lo-fi, didn't know what I was doing. Maybe I still don't know what I'm doing. That part might not have changed, but look back on it fondly because, you know, I've grown so much. You know, I've gotten much more equipment and just everything has stepped up a little bit. And I'm going to shut the hell up because my guest is here. I'm excited, man. So let's get down to it. Here we go. Another great episode coming your way right now. And there he is.
Hey, what's going on?
How are you, man?
Good. How about you?
I was just looking back, man, and I realized, man, that when I started this podcast 4 years ago, you were one of the very first guests that I had on very early on. And I look back on it now, and I didn't have great equipment. I was using the internal camera and the microphone. Things were much more grainier. But if you remember at the end of that episode, man, we sang a couple bars of Santa Monica.
We did? I don't even.
We did. It was actually awful. I was absolutely awful. You weren't awful. I mean, you do this for a living, so I mean, you can't be awful.
Yeah, well, you know, you do what you do. You do what you do.
Yeah, I'm happy to have you back on here, man. And I don't know. I try to you know, look back on some of the questions that I asked you, but I'm going to act like it didn't even happen. And I kind of want to ask you because I find that having now done over 400 episodes of this podcast, and I see a lot of musical artists have a common backstory where a lot of them get into the arts because they've come from backgrounds where it was really fostered in their upbringing. Music in the household, parents that are musicians, records playing. Was this the case for you?
No, I mean, my mom always listened to music. She was definitely into music. My dad, he listens to music, but it's not that important to him. My mom was. But the weird thing about that is, even though my dad wasn't into it that as much, his whole family are artists.
Okay.
Only my dad wasn't. Like my grandfather's an amazing saxophone and piano player.
Oh, okay.
He used to really be a really highly well-paid musician. From what I didn't know him very well. My dad didn't get along with his parents that well.
Okay.
So we didn't see him a whole lot. But my aunts, his brothers and sisters, either they do music or they paint or they sing or something. But my dad the only one that doesn't.
Okay. Odd. Yeah, that's crazy. And so I also find talking to bass players on here that I find a lot of times what bass players will tell me is they didn't necessarily choose the instrument. The instrument kind of chose them, because I think when you're growing up, sometimes it's as important as it is. It's not always deemed the most glamorous in the band. People want to be the shredder, or they want to be the front man. What's your relationship with the bass? How did you end up, synonymous with that instrument?
Yeah, my whole thing was, I was very into skateboarding growing up. Very into contests and everything. I skated with all those first guys, the Tony Hawk and all those guys.
Okay.
But the guys that I was skating with wanted to start a band. And I had never really thought about, I love music, but I never really thought about playing it. And they said, we want to start a band. I said, that's awesome. I'm like, I have no money at all to get an instrument. And, I don't know what I could do. And so they found me a bass. They got me a bass, and I tried it. And I got to say, I tried it for about 6 months, and it didn't get it. I didn't get it. And to the point where I said, you guys got to find somebody else, because I'm not really getting this.
Right.
So I took a couple weeks off, maybe about three, maybe a month. I can't remember how long. And picked it up again, and all of a sudden it started to make sense. It started to make sense, and I played it, and man, once I got to that point, that was it. I had just won a contest. They had a whole season of contests during the summer, and it was by age groups. And I had won my age group, 15 to 17. And the prize was that you could get a free, we're talking back when the original skate parks were around.
Yeah, right.
You could go to any skate park you wanted to and ride for free. That was the thing. And I won it. And I was so into playing bass, I never used it once.
Wow. And so what do you think changed, though? I mean, from the time when you weren't grasping it to then like revisiting it and suddenly it made sense. Can you put your finger on what the obstacle was?
I know one part of it was trying to learn stuff. I couldn't hear the bass in the recordings, because I learned completely by ear. I didn't take any. And when I picked it up again, all of a sudden I could start to hear it. I could hear what the bass was doing, so I could copy it. And I remember that was like a huge revelation. Revelation. Yeah. And it was also, and I'll tell you this, it wasn't on rock stuff. It was on R&B and Motown stuff.
Yeah.
That mom had. My mom had records, R&B and Motown stuff.
Yep.
That's how I really learned, by learning that stuff.
And so, were there any artists that you were particularly studying? Any guys that you really kind of focused on?
Yeah, the guy that did a lot of the first Motown stuff, a guy named James Jamerson.
Sure. Yeah.
He was a big influence. Still to this day, I still think his playing is incredible. And Cool from Kool and the Gang. I like his stuff because it was a little bit on the easier side, even though he's an amazing bass player. I found out his note selection was really cool.
Yeah.
He didn't overplay.
Yeah. And so fast forward to, I was looking back on the history of Everclear. So now you've been in the band since, correct me if I'm wrong, since 2009.
Yep.
Okay. And so for fans that might not know, how do you end up in Everclear? You know what I mean? Like, how do you come up on Art's radar? You know what I mean? Like, how do you come into the fold?
Well, it was, I was in another band called the EXIES.
Yep.
And we were on Virgin, and the first record, we had done a record before the Virgin record, but the first record Art had gotten a hold of, and he liked it a lot. So we were playing a radio festival show. It was around Christmas time, and it was in DC, and he came early to see us because we were a baby band, so we were one of the first ones.
Right.
So he came to see it. He came to see us and really liked it, and he asked us to tour with him the next following year. In 2003, this was 2002. 2003, we went on tour with them. I forget how long it was, probably 3, maybe 4 months. It was some shows, And at the end of that, he came up to me and he said, He's like, I think I'm going to make a change. And would you be interested in playing in Everclear?
Yeah.
And, you know, and I was shocked and flattered, you know, but I told him, I'm like, look, the EXIES, you know, I started with the singer. I got to see it through. I got to see what happens. So I think he respected that. You know, I wasn't just jumping ship.
Yep.
So we kept in touch. We kept in touch through the years. I'd see him when we were in Portland or whatever, playing Portland. He'd come and see the EXIES and stuff. And it was great. And then about 6 years later, the EXIES kind of ran out of steam. We had lost our deal, and I didn't know what we were going to do. And it had been months of not knowing. So I started calling around. I started looking for other stuff just to see. And one of the calls was to Art, one of the last ones. I was looking for regular jobs and stuff.
Yeah.
And one of the last ones was, well, the last one was Art. I said, hey, man, you know, I don't think the EXIES are going to be doing anything for a while, if ever. If you know of anybody that needs a bass player, I'd appreciate you throwing my name in there. And he's like, I need one.
Yeah.
He says, yeah, I need one. I guess he had just fired his bass player that morning.
Wow. Timing.
Yeah.
It's all about timing.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah.
You got to be good at what you do. That's what I tell people. Kids, a lot of kids ask, you know, how do you do it?
Yeah.
You got to be good at what you do, but you got to be lucky.
Yeah. There is a certain degree of luck. Yeah, you're right. And availability, you know, I mean, you know, being accessible.
And you got to be ready for it. You got to be ready.
Yeah. Yeah. Opportunity might not knock a second time. No, it might not.
And so we talked, and I said, yeah. He's like, I'm going to be down there in a couple weeks. I'll send you some songs, learn them. And then, you know, we'll see what happens. I said, oh, awesome. So that day comes and we get together, play a couple songs, and it was more about hanging out.
Yeah.
We talked more than we played. Really.
Yeah.
And he had other guys that he had picked already. But I thought this was the band. I didn't know anybody that had joined him after we toured with them.
Right.
And so he had other guys. And at the end of that night, he's like, hey, man. Oh, yeah. What happened was, okay, so we get done playing half an hour or something. And I walk out. He's saying, okay, I'll let you know, tonight what's going on, what I decide. All right, cool. And I walk out, and there's like 30 bass players like lined up. I didn't know it was like an audition. I thought we were just getting together.
Right.
And I was like, wow. I was like, but you can't blame him. It had been 6 years since he seen me play. He didn't know if he'll do it.
Yeah.
So he called me later that night. He's like, you got the gig if you want it. I was like, hell yeah, I want it. So, and that was August 1st, 2009. So it just turned 17 years.
Yeah. And so did he actually, so it sounds like, or I don't know if you've ever had this conversation with him, but after he hung with you and played, did he kind of have his mind made up, or did he see all those other bass players?
He saw them all, but he knew, said he knew that he wanted me, but he had paid for the studio. He's like, I have to let these guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, he already had it in his mind. He said,
that's got to be tough to sit there and watch like 20 or 30 other bass players, man, when he kind of already is reconciled in his own mind that he's made up his, he's made his decision.
Yeah, I guess. And you never know, maybe somebody would have just like, boom, just
right.
And out, and you got to do it because he had paid. I don't know if you ever heard of the guy, Barry Squire.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Barry was there, and Barry had set up all the other guys. So they were good. Yeah. Barry doesn't mess around with good guys that aren't good.
Yeah.
So they were good, but it just wasn't. He wanted more of a fit. That's why we talk so much.
Yeah.
And before we even had the interview, before we even had the audition, him and I went out to coffee that morning. And we're just talking, and he's like, "So what do you like in bands and stuff?" I'm like, I'm a song guy. I like good songs.
Yeah.
That's the important thing to me. Everything love.
Yeah.
Gotta have songs.
you've been on Invincible Stars in 2012 and Black is the New Black in 2015. What was your role in the creative process? Because you are kind of coming into something where it's kind of arts band at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's always been arts band.
Yeah.
Always. And I've told them that. I'm like, hey man, I know it's your thing. You will never get anything but respect for that from me. I'm just here to make your song sound good.
Yeah.
And I think he appreciates that. You know. But as far as doing the records, he comes in with the song, and he like just plays it for us, and we just kind of add our own stuff to it. We're working on a new record right now, and it's the same deal.
Okay.
Yeah, and sometimes he'll have an idea for a bass part, but for the most part, I'd say 95% of it, he just lets me go.
Yeah. Now, for fans that might want to know, and might want me to ask you this, as I said, Black is the New Black came out in 2015, so it has been a minute since we've gotten a new. Is there a reason behind it? I know you guys have still been touring very actively out there, playing shows or whatever. But can you shed any light on like why so long for a new Everclear album?
Well, what I understand is, and this is from reading and being next to Art when he's doing interviews.
Sure.
He just really didn't have much to say.
Okay.
Songs when he's got something to say.
I love that. You know what? I kind of love that though, man. Rather than just kind of like trying to crowbar songs out there that that don't really have any meaning to it. I like that he kind of picks his spots like that.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have any concern or worry that the musical landscape's always changing. Though, I mean, he must have a dedicated fan base that you just know. Okay, these guys are plugged in. They're going to be there no matter what.
Yeah. I mean, in all honesty, who buys records?
Yeah.
Buys records. So he's got that luxury of doing it for himself. He always did it for himself.
Yeah.
Now even more so.
Yeah.
More so. And it's I gotta tell you, the new stuff is freaking good.
Yeah.
Really, really good. And
does Art still have the mindset of full-length albums? Because obviously the industry has changed so much. We're seeing a lot of singles. We're seeing more abbreviated pieces of work. EPs are kind of making a comeback. People, as you said, people aren't really investing in full-length albums anymore.
Yeah. I don't know for sure. I mean, him and I have talked about it. Do you really put out a record? Do you really put out a full record?
Yeah.
We're doing it as a whole right now. That doesn't mean it's all going to come out at once.
Right.
I don't know what that thinking is with it. It might be pieced out.
Yeah.
And put it all together and then put it out later.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think he knows either.
Yeah. And so I mentioned earlier, you guys still, never gone anywhere in terms of like the touring and playing shows. You guys have been doing this for so long, man. Like, what's your relationship like with touring right now? Because obviously, you've been at this a long time. Sometimes it can be a grind. I mean, I know I'm 53 years old. I can't replicate things I did 20 years ago. It's harder.
Yeah. Oh, it's harder. It's definitely harder. Those flights that we take, it takes a little bit more rest. You got to get a little bit more rest. And make sure that you can sleep on the planes. We just did a show in Copenhagen, and that was rough because we were supposed to fly in the day before. We had a show in Nantucket on the island out there.
Yeah.
And we were going to get on a plane, fly out to Copenhagen the day before, have a day off, see the sights or whatever. That plane was canceled. So we had to fly in the day of the show. Yeah. We got there about 6 a.m. No, about 9. No, 6. Yeah. 6. But the time you get it through customs and everything,
right.
About 9 o'clock by the time we got to the hotel, poor crew had to go straight there and start setting it up.
Brutal. Yeah.
Yeah. Brutal. And then we played early, I think 7 o'clock, and we were on a plane back home the next day to play another show.
That's rough. That's hard. That's hard.
Now, hard.
But,
I was going to say it's hard, but the crowds make it fun.
Sure.
They give you that you get that adrenaline, and
Yeah.
you get through, and nothing's better than seeing people smiling when you're playing.
Absolutely. Yeah. Are you a guy when you're out on the road that has you personally, are you a guy that has like a regimen, a routine out there? You see some of these guys that are on the road that have exercise routines, or they eat differently, or they have different habits out there on the road.
Oh yeah. I make it a priority, no matter where we go, no matter how tired I am, unless I'm too tired and I have to just sleep. But not 99% of the time, first thing I do is find out, or even the night before when we fly out and do shows, I'll figure out where the gyms are.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
So as soon as we land, I'm getting dressed. I'm going to the gym.
Yep.
I get in at least an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Wow.
Of working out. Get back, work on the merch. I'm in charge of the merch, so
Okay.
I get there, make sure everything's cool. Go back to do a sound check. Go back, and then depending on if we have a meet and greet or not, go back again.
Yep.
And do the show. But yeah, it's something. Exercise is key for me.
Yeah.
And it's a must. And I put everything aside to do it. Everything aside.
And when you go out and tour, or if shows or a tour or even a small tour is coming up ahead of time, do you even start preparing physically in advance? Because I know I've talked to guys on here who say they know they have a tour coming up, and several weeks out they almost start training like an athlete.
Yeah. Well, I train. I just got back from the gym. I go to the gym consistently throughout the year.
That's good.
So it's not something I have to really kick into gear.
Okay.
I think I did that when I have had, I was sick, and COVID.
Sure.
COVID took it out, and it was hard to get back into it. I don't know how people stop and start like.
Yeah.
But this is something that it's a regimen that I've had since I was 18. I've always went to the gym. Always.
Yeah. It's got to help though. It's got to help.
It does.
It has to.
I have a little bit of arthritis in my hip.
Yeah.
And the doctor said, move around as much as possible.
Yes.
Don't sit.
Yeah.
Oh, I've always, I try to do that as much as possible.
Yeah.
It's just good for you too.
Sure.
Before I would, if I couldn't get to like in the EXIES a lot, I couldn't get to gyms, and we didn't have much money, because now I can call it Lyft or an Uber.
Right.
Or we have runners, but when you're a baby band, you don't get a chance to use the runners.
Right.
So I started running. I would run a couple miles, 3 miles every day. And that was cool, because not only do you get good exercise, but you kind of get to see where you're at. That's why I like going to the gym too, because I get a ride through the town to see where I'm at.
Yeah.
Guys in bands will tell you, it's hotel, gig, plane, same thing.
Right.
Over again.
Yep.
See anything,
Right. And I mean, if you're traveling the world, I mean, that is one of the nice perks is you get to see and experience stuff.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. We just got back from Canada, and that was awesome. We were in Saskatoon, and I made sure to go to the gym and walk around a little bit and see some stuff,
Yeah.
And you never know. This career that I've had is, you never know when it's going to end.
Yeah.
It could be the last time I get to go there.
Right. Especially nowadays, there's so much uncertainty in the music industry. There's no guarantees anymore.
Nope. So you gotta take it day by day and make the best of it. Make the best.
Now, before you got into Everclear, and you were approached by Art, and I know you told the story and everything. How aware were you of Everclear? Were you a fan?
I was a fan as far as I didn't know much of Sparkle and Fade.
Okay.
But I did buy So Much for the Afterglow.
Okay.
Great record.
Yeah.
Great record.
Yeah.
And then but then going on tour with them, which was a few years later, I really got into them because I saw their songs in a good band will always be better live.
Yeah.
Records.
Yeah.
And not taking anything away from those early records. I think they're great. but it just didn't resonate with me the way it did after I saw them live.
Right.
And
Right.
I would watch them every night. They were playing, they were selling out places, and we got to experience a little bit of that just because we got to open up.
Yeah, yeah. Now, now I know earlier you touched on you mentioned the EXIES. We've been talking so much about Everclear. Is anything going on with the EXIES, man? Like what's the status of them?
Well, we played a couple of shows in 2024. Was it 2024? Yeah, it was 2024. Or maybe it's 25. I can't remember. We played a couple shows.
Yeah.
Put out an EP. It's mostly Scott. I played on one of the songs, and but he had some songs, and we did that, and it was a lot of fun playing those shows. And we got offered to go on the Creed cruise, but we couldn't make it work. We couldn't make it schedule wise.
Yeah.
And hopefully, we're not close. We never quit. We never broke up.
Yeah, door's always open.
Yeah, door's always open. And Scott knows, if he wants to do something and I can do it, I'll be there.
Yeah.
I will be there.
So it sounds like you kind of approach your career, because I've had guys on here, especially from the metal world, but sometimes even in the rock world, where guys have eggs in a lot of different baskets. I don't even know where they find the time or the energy. They'll be in 4 or 5 different bands. It sounds like you prefer to keep the workload, more focused on a couple of artists at a time.
I've always been like that. Growing up, I knew a lot of guys like that. They were in like 4 or 5 different things, and I couldn't get down with that, because I'm like, how can they all be at the level they need to be if yourself that thin? Yeah. So I was like, always, I'm going to put all my effort into one thing, and it's worked out for me. I think I got lucky because I was in a band before. When I first started playing, I got in a band in Hollywood, and we were doing good. We were headlining shows, a band called Hot Wheels.
Okay.
And the singer was actually the original singer for Warrant before Janie Lane.
Oh, okay. Before Janie. Okay.
Yeah, before Janie. And he got out of that and he started a band. Talented guy. And we were doing really good. And at that time, I was building furniture. And one day I was on the planer and I put a door through and the piece of wood exploded and my hand went in to the blade.
Oh.
In my fingers. Where's my fingers? I don't have a middle fingernail.
Oh, I see. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. These three are shorter.
Okay. Yep. I see that. Yeah.
But when that happened, they found another guy, and at the time I was pretty pissed, but it took me a good 7 months, and they couldn't wait that long. And I understand it now, but anger, I was definitely pissed at the time. But I would have stuck with that. Stuck with that. And after that, they got another guy, another bass player who I finally actually met for the first time. And he's actually the bass player in Warrant now.
Oh, okay. Wow. Came full circle.
Yeah. And we met at the hotel at the airport the other day. And I said, do you know who I am? A guy named Rob. Can't remember what his last name is. And we started talking, like, I'm Freddie. I was in Hot Wheels when you joined, He's like, oh, yeah. He's like, and he knew the whole story. He's like, I always wondered what happened to you.
Yeah.
Did well, but I would have stuck with Hot Wheels. And then after I was fired, I guess, they didn't last very long after.
Yeah.
So it was never really there, Right. And then I got in another band. And then I ended up in a band with in Hollywood. I had moved to North Hollywood finally because I couldn't drive back and forth from Riverside, which is like miles.
It was where you had to be back in the day too.
Yeah, it was. It was. Got another band called Eden, and that was Eden Everly, who is Don Everly's son.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And we did a record on Hollywood Records. And then that kind of fell apart after that one record. So I got in another band called Smith House Rag, which turned into the same guys, but we changed it to the End It Alls.
Yep.
And that guitar player ended up, him and I were doing a lot of recording here at my house. And we were kind of not happy. It was very Stonesy, like Black Crowsy.
Yeah.
And we wanted to do a little bit more alternative, heavier stuff.
Okay.
So we did a demo, and he's like, well, the singer wasn't around to do it. So he's like, well, I'll do it. And he did it. I was like, dude, I didn't know you could sing like that. He's like, I'm like, why don't we leave this band, start our own band, and you be the singer, guitar player?
Yeah.
And it took him a long time. It took him about 6 months before he finally said, okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
Try it. And that was the EXIES.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow. So the story came from that. And my day job, I work in healthcare as a nurse. So the nurse in me has to ask, out of curiosity, how did that finger injury affect your bass playing?
Well, it definitely did. I learned how to use my pinky a lot more.
Okay.
And I shift a lot more. I slide between notes a little more than a lot of guys would. A lot of guys would walk, but I would do sliding, and that's part of my sound now.
Yeah.
I had to learn how to push down on the strings differently.
Yeah.
Because I have a little bit of scar tissue. You probably can't see it, but
Yeah, no. Yeah, but I would imagine there would be. Sure. Yeah.
There was a hole right here, and they had to pull that flap over, and I don't want to get too much into it.
Yeah.
But after it happened, it was a couple months after, and everything had healed. And I said, well, we got to go in there again. And I'm like, for what? And they're like, well, you have they took x-rays, and you have jagged edges of the bone.
Yeah.
And especially if you're playing, it will push through, and you'll have so much pain you won't even know.
Yeah.
Okay, so they had to open them up again and go in there and file down. And that took another, I probably would have been playing probably in about 6 months, but it actually took about 9 to 10 before I was actually ready to play.
And what was it like when you got back on the instrument, man? I mean, did you feel like you could jump right back in, or was there pain involved when you first got back to playing?
There's a little bit of pain.
Yeah.
A little bit of pain. And your brain is telling you, you're supposed to just push this far to get the note. And you have to teach your brain, no, you got to do extra amount of pushing because your fingers are shorter.
Right.
So it took a little while to do that, but obviously I figured it out.
Yeah. Were you nervous at all, like when that happens, that shit, this might be the end for me?
Oh yeah. I was asking the doctor when I first got in there, will I be able to play? He's like, I can't tell you. He's like, I can't promise you anything. It's like,
wow,
I don't.
Wow. So it was that serious, man. Like it could have been the end for you.
Could have been the end. It could have been.
Been.
But it actually lit a fire underneath me like you would not believe. And I wanted it even more.
Yeah.
I wanted it. And I had gotten a little bit of a taste with that other band. I was headlining shows in Hollywood already.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is really, really what I want. So everything, every relationships and everything, it took me a long time to have a serious relationship because I was just so focused.
Yeah.
On that.
Now, as you've been out there, touring the world, playing festivals, playing shows, have you gotten the chance to meet anybody that really blew your mind? You know what I mean? Like where you get like the celebrity meetup, or you get to meet a rock star that you look up to.
Oh yeah, I mean, meeting Tom Peterson from Cheap Trick.
Yes.
That was an awesome deal. But I knew Tom a little bit from Eden. He was friends with the producer of that record, and he came in and played 6-string bass over my 4-string bass on a song. And that was just like heaven to me. And we hung out after and everything. And it's been amazing. Like everybody I meet, like the guys from Local H, and when Art put together Summerland, I got to meet all the guys that I never knew, never had a chance to know in their heyday.
Right.
And every single band has been so cool. And I really have figured out that to stay in this business for as long, we're talking 30 years.
Yeah.
For a lot of these guys.
Yep.
you have to be cool, and you're there for the music. It's not for the party, or that's fine when you're a kid, but you really, you really want to play music.
Yeah. Now you get to create and work and collaborate and play alongside of Art, who I've always admired and just think he's such a creative force. You've been in a band with him now, for a long time. What's your assessment of him as an artist, as a player, as a songwriter?
Oh, he's top of the mountain, man.
Yeah.
Think about the songs that he's written.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. I mean, I never understood the whole disparaging remark, oh, those guys are one-hit wonder.
I know.
How hard it is to get one hit.
I know.
Hard. Anybody would give their arm to have one hit.
Yeah.
Art's got like 7.
And some people make a good living just off the one hit. Like, look at a guy like Vanilla Ice. He's made a whole career of Ice Baby.
yeah. I mean, Queen had something to do with it, but
yeah, that's true.
But he's made it into a career. And yeah, I mean, next time you think that somebody's just like, yeah, they only had one hit. Yeah. How many you have?
Right. I think sometimes that's radio sometimes doing these artists like a disservice, because sometimes it's just the one song that you've heard a lot, so it becomes synonymous, and you just think in your feeble brain, oh, they only have one great song,
Yeah. And I gotta say, I'm a radio guy. Growing up, I was a radio guy.
Yeah.
I didn't have money for records or tapes or anything like that, so all my knowledge of music was one hit. So going out with all these bands that I liked, hearing their hits, but knowing all these other songs, like one of the first bands, I can't say that about Local H because I've been a fan of Local H, everything.
Yeah, they're great.
The Toadies.
Yeah.
The Toadies are so freaking good.
Yeah.
And they have so many great songs.
Yeah.
So many great songs. So many. And I wasn't privy to that because I only knew the radio song. I only knew
right. Yeah.
So I would have thought if somebody had said one hit wonder about the Toadies, I've been like, maybe. But man, there's so many great songs.
But I think that happened a lot in the mid to late 90s too, man, because there were so many, there was so much great music. I mean, there was just an influx of like great music. So I think people just think sometimes that some of these bands, a lot of these bands, just have one hit. One hit. You know what I mean? Like sometimes, like you'll think of a band like Third Eye Blind, you'll think, oh, they only have Semi-Charmed Life. You know what I mean? And then you start to really do a deeper dive, and you think like, oh my God, that's them. Oh my God, that's them.
Yeah.
You start to scratch the surface, and you realize like, oh, maybe I didn't know that these guys wrote all these songs.
Yeah. No, I think that's the case with most of the bands that are still around from that time.
Yeah.
I see people sometimes that, I meet people and they're like, I can see them in the audience and I'll turn to people like, oh, this song too,
Yeah, you're right.
And even though Everclear was everywhere in the 90s, there's still people that grew up not knowing them.
Right.
But now the thing is, and Art and I talk about it all the time from stage and with each other, is the amount of kids that are coming to shows.
Yeah.
Kids that weren't even born.
Right.
Songs. And I always ask them, how do you know this song? Invariably, their parents had the record.
Right.
And they found it and they started playing it and they liked it. I think kids are starting to gravitate towards rock because rap and hip hop have been so prevalent.
Yes.
And rock's the new thing to them.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't around. It's never been really around for them.
Yeah.
And it's new and they think it's kind of cool and they go see bands and and it's fun to watch people play the songs.
Right. Yeah. I do think there's definitely some truth to, I probably laughed at it when I was young too, but you do end up invariably, as you say, you listening to your parents' music. You don't think it's cool maybe at the time, but then you realize like it took me years to suddenly realize that, holy shit, my dad was listening to some pretty cool shit around the house. I wasn't giving him enough credit for because, I was listening to my hair metal or my alternative stuff. And I really wasn't thinking that maybe the Eric Clapton or the blues stuff or the Motown stuff that he was listening to was as cool as it was, Yeah.
It took me a while. And also too, in between when I was with Eden And when the EXIES started and the other bands in between there, in the middle of that, I started playing disco. I was in a disco cover band.
Okay.
And being a bass player, that's a hell of a education.
Yeah.
It's bass.
Oh yeah.
So it was an awesome experience. And you know, I had that same thing, you know, disco sucks, whatever.
You're right.
My mom into it.
Yeah.
There's great players and great music in it, you know, just like anything. Music to me is it's just personal taste.
Yeah.
Either you like it or you don't, but none of it really sucks.
So are you able to what are your, so if you're puttering around the house or you're in your car, like what's your own personal, like as a fan, from a fan standpoint, what's your listening trends like? Because for a while, you know, I was that guy who was kind of stuck in a time warp and I would just listen to the stuff from back in the day and I wouldn't open my mind up to a lot of new stuff. Doing this podcast has helped me because I've tried to use it as a platform and try to discover some younger bands that maybe haven't their first interview yet or whatever, and try to reach out to bands like that because you know, it is a tough time to be a musical artist right now, so you need all the promotion you can get. So I've tried to be a little more open-minded, but what's your own listening trends like?
I've been listening to a lot of new stuff. There's a band called Dead Pioneers.
Okay.
That I like a lot. A girl called her name is Eka Vandal.
Okay.
It's funky, garagey stuff. It's a little heavier. There's a real cool band called Tiger Cub. They're from England.
Okay.
I'm always looking for new stuff.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that guy that's like, oh, there's nothing good out there.
Right.
There is. There
Yeah.
is. And people need to give them a chance.
Yeah. Yeah.
I find a lot of stuff just on the internet.
Yeah.
That's how I found Royal Blood way early.
Yeah.
And it was a thing I got in the email, like, check out this new band. I was like, wow, these guys are good.
Great. Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah. And now you mentioned that Everclear working on new music. I just had somebody on the podcast the other day who I was talking about the music videos that they had made. Where does Art stand on making music videos for his new songs? Does he see that as a viable promotional tool? Like some bands are still. I know we're watching on smaller screens now. You know, what I mean, there's no MTV or VH1 really. We're not watching them the same way we used to years ago, but it does still seem like people are watching them.
Yeah. Well, we did a live record 2 years ago.
Yep.
And we put a couple new songs on there. And one of the songs, Singing Away, we did a full video for.
Yeah.
So I don't know what he's thinking about for this, but you know, I think it just depends. You know, depends what he writes, and he's still in the process of writing the lyrics.
Yeah.
So I don't know what he's going to talk about.
It does still seem like a viable promotional tool, though. Like, it does still seem to work. I mean, people are still kind of watching them, even though they're watching them on smaller screens, on computers or on their phones or whatever. It does still seem like, and I guess you got to use every marketing tool you can nowadays.
Oh yeah.
Try to get yourself out there because it's very feast or famine. I mean, there's such an influx of new music on these streaming sites every day. It's absolutely crazy.
It is, and it's hard. And we're lucky that he's at a spot where he can just do it when he wants.
Yeah.
And it works for him.
Yeah.
So,
and I love that you said that he likes to wait until he's actually got something to say, because I do feel like there's like this, there's sense of urgency, with such an influx of music coming out there, that there is an urgency to stay relevant. I've got to get something out. Or I'll tell you I'm going to be yesterday's news, I like that Art doesn't sweat that,
Oh, I don't think so.
That's refreshing to hear, because it almost feels like, okay, it's been 6 months or it's been a year. I've got to get something out,
Yeah. Well, I mean, that used to be the treadmill for every band.
Yeah.
Once a year you had to put something out.
Right.
People didn't have that. But I think things are slowly changing. I don't know. I was thinking about it the other day, talking about it, and we're almost musically back to where it was in the 50s, where all you put out was singles.
Right.
Yeah. That's what they did in the 50s. And then if you had enough singles, then you might make a record.
Right.
With those songs or without those songs.
Yeah.
And I don't know where it's going, but kids want to buy records. They want to buy albums.
Yeah.
Vinyl.
Yeah.
We sell out of vinyl all the time.
Yeah.
And we always have people buying vinyl. We can't even get it. We can't even get it. They did a 30th anniversary of Sparkle and Fade last year, and we can't even get any copies.
Yeah.
They can't make it fast enough.
I think maybe the fear is like sometimes like when artists are putting out a full length album, 12, 13 songs or whatever, that nowadays people are just like, grabbing the song or two that they like and just making their own individual playlist. You know what I mean? And they're maybe not delving into your deeper tracks, and you're putting all this blood, sweat, and tears into this whole album that's meant to be listened to. You arrange it, you sequence it. You know what I mean? And I think every album to a certain extent is kind of conceptual. It's meant to be listened to, and I think maybe that's kind of maybe hurtful to an artist to say, oh geez, you're listening to one or two songs off this,
Yeah, but I think it's been that way ever since
it probably has.
CD really made that. You could buy a record and then you just tape the one or burn the song that you want,
right?
Or two. I know, and I'm guilty of that.
Oh, am I? Sure. Yeah.
You listen to a record, okay, I like this song. When if you listen to it more, and then I've gone back to some of those records and listened to them all the way through, and like, wow, I can't believe that I did not like that record.
Yeah.
Music is so subjective. There's been whole records that I thought sucked at the time when I listened to it, and then gone back and like, wow, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Just because of whatever frame of mind you're in that day.
Right. Yeah. I was just having a discussion with a friend of mine at work who, I told him I was going to bring this up with you because you are in a band that just happens to sing the song Father of Mine. Now, this is a guy who's almost 50 years old that I work with that has abandonment and daddy issues. So I told him that I would get you to tell him that everything is going to be okay.
It will be.
It will be, right? It will be. It will be. Yeah.
My dad left too.
Yeah.
My dad too.
Yeah.
It's not an uncommon story, unfortunately.
So I think Father of Mine resonates with him.
Oh, yeah. I think, man, I'm not kidding. It was weird when I first joined Everclear because when we played that song, I would see grown men crying.
Yeah.
Crying, And I'm like, wow, that's powerful stuff.
Yeah.
That Art could find that and pull it out of himself and say it in that way where it just touched so many people. That's what's so good about Art. He knows how to do it. He knows how to say something to the point where it can apply to so many people.
Yeah.
So, everyone is another song. Think you the hand you hold is the hand that holds you down.
Yeah. Deep.
That's deep shit, man.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, so you've been on that stage and you've seen the actual power of Father of Mine, making grown men cry. I love that, man. I love that.
Many times.
Yeah.
Big dudes. Big dudes.
Yeah. So you can assuredly look in the camera right now and say, Paulie, it's going to be okay.
Paulie, it's going to be okay.
Oh, that's going to mean the world to him. That's going to mean the world. And if he cries, if he cries at this interview, I can't say that I'm not going to haze him. Listen, man, I really appreciate you doing this, man. And I think the good news that is going to come from this, Everclear fans are going to be stoked that after 11 years and some change, we're gonna, and now are you at liberty to give a timetable on when you think new Everclear could come? Is it more realistic 2027?
No idea.
No idea.
Oh yeah, it's definitely not going to be this year.
Okay.
It definitely will not be this year.
Okay.
It'll be next year.
Okay. But that's still very, very good news. And it's very stoked and very excited just to know that you guys are, putting the heads together, putting pen to paper, writing. I don't know. Do people even still put pen to paper anymore?
I think Art does. I think Art writes.
I like to think that Art would be one of those old school guys that still takes out a legal pen and writes down stuff. He strikes me as that type of guy. He's not rolling with the punches.
He does computer too.
Okay.
Both.
Okay. But that's good news. Sometimes
it's such a hassle to get on and start the computer and do it. Sometimes you just got to write stuff down.
Yeah. Well, here we come full circle after 4 years. I'm not going to make you sing because, in the first interview, I held you down. I held you way back, and, it could have cost you your career, Freddie, and I don't want to do that.
Right.
Yeah. I appreciate you coming back on here, man. I love chopping it up with you, man. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. And maybe when it gets closer to the album coming out, we'll jump on here and we'll do it again.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All the best to you, man. Have a good rest of the year.
Appreciate it. You too, Freddie. Good talking to you, man. Thank you.
Take care.
All right. Later, man. And there he goes, folks. Freddie Herrera, bass player for Everclear since 2009. Just came up, as he said, August 1st, 2009, joins the band. So at the time of this recording, it is August 19th. So, he's been in the band for 17 long years, doing his thing alongside Art. Just such a prolific, creative force. If you don't know Everclear's music, and it has been a minute, the last album, Black is the New Black, came out in 2015. So it has been a minute since the boys have dropped anything new, but Everclear fans, take note. Freddie came straight from his mouth. They are working on new music. Realistically, probably not going to see it in 2026, as he said. 2027 sounds more realistic at the soonest possible date. Maybe even later than that, but just know the ball is rolling. We're headed in the right direction and new Everclear music. And listen, Freddie said they're working on some great fucking shit. So, that should tide fans over and keep us waiting with bated breath. I can't wait for some new Everclear. In the meantime, you got those old classic albums to fall back on and go listen to them. And I'm sure many, many fans are such great classics. And I'm glad that he reassured my boy Paulie at work that things are going to be okay. Listen, the daddy issues, yeah, they're going to be there, but you can deal with them. You can make it through this life. It's okay. Just bump some Father of Mine and just know you're not alone. You heard Freddie say that song touches many, even big, strong, hulking guys get a little weepy. So we all got our issues inside. We're all sensitive. So it'll be okay, Paulie. You heard it straight from Freddie. So really, I appreciate him coming on here. Great conversation. Love chopping it up with him. Let me give you guys the 411 one more time before I sign off on how you can get tapped in with us. Make sure to check us out on Facebook. Our handle is Off the Couch Boxing and Pod Scum. So 2 shows, and you can find out what's popping with both shows on that Facebook page. Instagram, same handle, Off the Couch Boxing and Pod Scum. But if you want to watch and listen to these episodes in their entirety, this is where you need to be tapped in, right here on our YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, and you will be tapped in. We'll let you know when new content is dropping. Let me get my accolades out right now. I got to appreciate my viewers and my subscribers. I love you guys. We're halfway through 2026, a little more than halfway through, and it has been another great year of growth, especially considering that I've really kind of slacked a little bit this summer. Took some time to myself to enjoy the weather, to enjoy the family, wasn't putting out a lot of new content, and people were still tapping into the old content. The viewers and the subscribers were continued to grow just as if I was putting up new content. So I love you guys, man. Thank you so much for lifting up this podcast, this little independent podcast, and really breathing life into us, man. I appreciate the hell out of you guys, man. Love you guys. It's almost making me weepy. So I appreciate it, man. It's been awesome to see the growth. We are north of 4. I think we're about to put up episode number 420 of Pod Scum. Go back and check out the past episodes. I always say it. There's something there for everybody. And if you're a fight fan, we're well north of 315 episodes of Off the Couch Boxing. So if you're a fan of pugilism and boxing, there's a lot there for you to sink your teeth into too. So this channel it's hard hitting in 2 different ways. Hard hitting with great music interviews, hard hitting with great boxing interviews. So if you love those 2 worlds, this is the channel for you. Dive on in, check out those past episodes. And again, thanks to my viewers and my subscribers. Of course, I must thank my guests, because as much of a treat as it is to feast your eyes on this, and I owe it all to Pops up there. I mean, I am Diamond David Lee Roth Jr., so I can't take all the credit. It's genetics. So, you get to feast your eyes on me, but I know that's not why you tune in. You tune in for these amazing conversations that I get to have with these incredibly talented people. I know where my bread is buttered. So I got to thank my guests. I can't do it without them. Love each and every one of them, and I appreciate how generous they are with their time. Specifically today, the great Freddie Herrera from Everclear and the EXIES. Of course, didn't ask him how you can find out information on Everclear, but you're all pretty savvy nowadays. Everybody knows how to work their internet. Just type in Everclear, check out their website, check out their Instagram, check out their Facebook. The information is out there. If they're playing a show near you, get to it. New music comes out, make sure you feast your ears on it. Be a good fan. This is where I drop my little soapbox moment here. Be a good fan. These artists are out there grinding and hustling in vans, in buses, going overseas, playing little shows in clubs, playing big festivals, and everything in between to bring the music to us. They're out there grinding. Not everybody is fucking Taylor Swift, thank God. These guys are out there grinding and hustling, so be a good fan. Get out to a live show, support the music, cop some merch while you're there, buy the physical product, the vinyl. As Freddie said, it sells out all the time. People love it. Be a good fan, man, and lift these artists up and be supportive. If you love the music and you love the artists, go out there and show that love. End of soapbox. So I appreciate you guys, another great episode in the books. Again, thank you to Freddie Herrera of Everclear. And until we get together and we do this thing again, this is your boy, Reckless Rexx, reminding you all to take it easy and keep it sleazy.